Hey everybody, how's it going? December is just around the corner, and with it, a new set of Marvel Snap Spotlight cards. This month is particularly interesting for a couple of different reasons. Most of all, we learned a lesson about the data mining process. So let's dive right in. I'll start with a personal reason. Back in October, I looked at the data mines and realized the October cards all repeated in December. And I decided I would wait until December to essentially double up, get more bang out of my Spotlight book, get the October cards and the December cards all in the same month. I even made a video about it. But things got interesting though with that plan slash frustrating in early November when the data mine data changed. Man-Thing and the Black Knight were both removed from the December spotlights. And while not getting Man-Thing or the Black Knight was not a crippling loss, it was disappointing to learn that I would not be likely be getting a chance at new cards for a while without spending tokens on them. And also just that my video I made looked like a bunch of nonsense. So fast forward to this Monday, 2 days ago, I had Man-Thing pinned in my shop. I had him for a while and I figured, what the hey, he's not in the spotlights. I'll just buy him with tokens. And literally 30 minutes later, I see YouTube videos start popping up. The spotlights changed again and Man-Thing is back. So that's a little double frustrating for me personally. A little more patience, the plan still would have worked. So anybody who did skip October, hoping to double up on December, still can. On top of that, the spotlights had been shuffled a bit, and one of the new featured cards, Firestar, um, was completely removed from the spotlights this week, which is definitely a shame. I think Firestar was probably the most anticipated card of the month. It's people had been relying on the data mines to make decisions, and they're usually very accurate. There was also a bundle with this Bast variant that came out this week that got changed. It's just a reminder that these things are not finalized. These are not official at all. The programmers probably have a deadline where they have to like put the final stuff in by a certain time, and before that, it's just sort of placeholders or like options that they're willing to change. And it's a little bit of a downer because the Marvel Snap economy really incentivizes planning ahead and like saving your resources. They even put in like since that October video, they've instituted the Spotlight key system, so you don't have to like you can click on the Spotlight caches on your collection track and just wait until later to actually use them. So they really incentivize saving, and it's tough to do that without having like reliable data about the future. But that's all really just for fun anyway. Trying to get excited about new things. Just since the things are usually accurate, just use them as like a rough draft to plan. All right, with that in mind, let's take a look at the data we have now for the month of December. So first of all, if we look here, finally, if we look at the first week of December, we notice a big change that Blob was supposed to come out this week, or had been listed anyway to come out this week, which would have signaled a big change in the release scheduling. Usually, the first week of every month, the Spotlight caches don't have a new card. The new card is available in the Season Pass at the start of the month. So you just get a couple of repeats, and it looked like that in the first week of December and the first week of January, they were going to release a new card. So right now, that is no longer the case. The Blob hasn't moved until later, and they just put Man-Thing back in the spotlights. Also available with Jeff and Stegron. I decided to be positive personally about the change because this Deodato variant is just it's a really nice variant, right? Jeff is the biggest star here. Since he's been released, he's been the best 2-drop in Marvel Snap. I somehow have existed in Marvel Snap without Jeff all this time. So I'm pretty stoked to finally get him in a Spotlight cache. If you have Jeff and Man-Thing, that takes this Spotlight down a peg. Man-Thing is kind of a niche card. He's not bad, but he has, a popular counter. He's in like niche decks. And Stegron has never found a place in any popular deck. I see him now and then. I think he's underrated, but he's sort of like a replacement card. If you need Jeff still, I think this is a grade A week. If you already have Jeff, it's probably more of a C grade, maybe even less. Again, this week kind of stings because we lost Firestar, so this is where she would have gone, I guess. She was, I would say, definitely the most anticipated new card. people speculate that there must have been some bugs that they had to work out with the card. I'd say it looked very strong, so it's possible they thought they had to just delay it until they could like balance her a little bit better. But who knows? Maybe it was never really planned to go like a new card every week to begin with, and they just decided she would be the one to postpone. Anyway, we move on to the second week. Here we have our Blob. He's our newest big pile of stats 6-cost card. He basically devours your remaining deck, absorbing all their power. And he has the ongoing, cannot be moved because nothing moves the Blob.
Nothing moves the Blob!
I don't want to dive too deep into each new card, but this guy definitely sounds fun. Something you could be used in a Hela deck to just have, you know, if you have a deck full of big dudes, then he'll just get really, really big. He'll be the biggest dude of all time. Yeah, sort of the way Null, when you get a Null that's like 30 power or 40 power, you know, the Null, that alone can be good enough to win a game. Also, since he does absorb your whole deck, he is a pretty strong Darkhawk counter. And Darkhawk has come back into the meta lately, so it's notable. He comes out with Living Tribunal and Ravonna Renslayer. Ravonna Renslayer is pretty niche. I've been using her, people have been using her in Mr. Negative decks. She gets the job done, but I don't think she's really worth being excited about. The Living Tribunal is interesting with the Blob. If you can make a Blob that gets really, really big, and then use the Tribunal to spread his power to all 3 lanes, there might be something there. I'm not sure how you'd build that deck. Personally, I also think this new artist, this Kyle, I don't want to butcher it, Kylun Ku, we'll say. I really love this guy's art style. It's he goes for like the realistic look, kind of like Artgerm, but he has this like paint stroke quality. It looks like a painting. I think it's terrific, so I'll be happy to get this variant. So if you don't have Tribunal yet, then I think getting him and Blob would probably make for an enticing pickup, at least a new thing to try in the game. I always wouldn't expect these cards to dominate the meta. You know, like this is a solid B. This Blob art, this has got to be the loudest Marvel Snap card. I wonder if Mateus Manhanini, I wonder if he thinks he made him look good, or if this is more of like a satire, because he's like a villain, so maybe he made him look obnoxious on intention. I don't know. Week 3 brings us the new card, Havoc. This is Cyclops' brother. He has a rather strange ability. He gains 3 power at the end of the turn, but he essentially caps your max energy at the turn that you play him. So you have to ask, is it worth having one 2-cost card that can get pretty big? But he caps your energy. That's a pretty steep cost. I mean, my first thought is you play Cosmo on turn 3, and then on turn 4 you play Havoc on top. That means Havoc will get to be 10 power for 2 energy, which is pretty good. 2 energy in... I'm so itchy. Hold on. But, I mean, it's sort of a thing where, is it really 2 energy though? Because if you lose energy on 5 and 2 energy on 6, then he's now a 5 power card, or 5-cost card to get 10 power, which is, you know, it depends. You play him in like a zoo deck, and I say put him on top of Cosmo because he's just the most obvious Shadow King bait, or if he gets big enough, Shang bait. People generally think he's going to be pretty bad, and it's hard to get like too excited. Son of a I know this is itchy. However, the real prize of this week is Nico Minoru. Ever since she's been released, she's proven to be like one of the top 5 best cards in the game. She's just super flexible, super efficient. She can go into a variety of decks. She really is like a perfect piece in a destroy deck, but she fits into a lot of places. I think she's just going to be one of those new evergreen cards like Jeff that can just always be played and always makes your deck a little bit better. I don't have her. I skipped October, so I'm excited to finally get her. And on top of all that, the third card here is Legion, who can be a game-breaking card all on his own. He had a really, really big impact when he first came out. He doesn't get seen as much play now because he lost 1 power, but I've still had people play him against me and just steal the game. So this is a great week, I think. Just not because of the new card, though. It's good because Nico and Legion, if you don't have either of those, this is top of the line stuff. This is grade A stuff. And the new card isn't the exciting piece. So if you already have Nico and you already have Legion, then you'll probably pass on just Havoc. The final week Starting the day after Christmas brings us Celine. Celine is a 1/1 power, and on reveal, she afflicts a card in both players' hands with -3 power. So we have a brand new, what they call a hate card, a card that will mess up your hand. She also has obvious synergy with Annihilus. Annihilus sends her over. Annihilus can send over that in your hand that you made negative after you get its positive effect. So everybody who has Annihilus rejoice. You're going to get some help with that card, as if he needs the help. He's pretty strong already. She could also just be used like she really messes up Iron Man, right? Also of note, though, is that once again we see Black Knight is back in the December Spotlight caches. He was removed with Man-Thing in that original change, which has now been reverted. This one used to have one of these. I forget, I'll have to check, but one of the Spotlights used to have Lady Deathstrike. So I was excited because that would be like a 3 new card week for me, but I don't have the Black Knight, and I still don't have Iron Lad. I passed on Iron Lad and Jeff when they came out. And Iron Lad has been a powerhouse ever since he came out like 6 months ago or whatever. Another just Swiss Army knife of a card. So I think this is a very interesting week, definitely. If you don't have Iron Lad like me, again, this is something that I'm excited to buy. A lot of people don't have Black Knight, I think. I think a lot of people passed on Black Knight because he just looked a little underwhelming, and he kind of was. But here's a chance to get him if you didn't have him. And Celine, at the very least, seems to go smoothly with Annihilus, who just came out. So definitely a week to be excited about, I think. If you already have Iron Lad, I think it's going to be like a C+ week at worst, right? Black Knight, most people don't have, so you're getting something. And then as good as Celine is, depends on how that works, right? And it seems like she'll at least be a strong card to play with Annihilus. So that sums up the spotlights for December. Which week are you most excited for? Do you have any feelings about missing the Firestar, missing the way that the data mines have changed? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, follow, etc., etc., and most of all, keep snapping.